Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Lifeco Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities or fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jose, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
Hey y'all, I am here, so excited for number 2. And I tell you, this is a topic that touches my heart, and I'm going to share. Don't worry, I will leave you having a good time, I promise, even though this is a very heavy subject. Today is moms and suicide. I know that's a tough topic, and I want to focus more on how we survive and what do we do with that pain that we've been through, and actually how we can benefit other people going through something like that. So I'm really excited. This whole show is going to be dedicated to survivors of suicide, family, moms, anybody that's dealt with someone that has taken their own life. And anyone who's struggling from mental illness. Depression is so huge. Anxiety is so huge. And it's prevalent these days in our society and what's going on everywhere. I mean, I remember growing up, middle school, high school, I never heard the word anxiety. Like, what was that? I mean, I even grew up in an alcoholic home, which I had tons of anxiety, but I didn't know what it was. And I didn't know to name it, a label. Like, we didn't do labels way back then, right? We just didn't have the label situation like we do now. And I just want to bring awareness to it, and not only just bring awareness to it, celebrate coming out of the other side, coming on the other side of it, because you can, and we do, and I have. And we are going to talk about what we do to get there and actually how you can actually help someone else, because that's what it's all about, right? It's not about us. It's about helping and serving other people. So I'm going to share a little bit of a story with you today. And get your tissues out, as I say with everyone who meets me. Yes, you're going to cry, happy or sad, doesn't matter. But I love tears. Tears are healing, and tears are amazing, laughing or crying. So those of you out there listening, you might have come across someone who has grown up in a dysfunctional household, or you might have yourself. So my amazing father, who has passed away at the age of wonderful 94 several years ago, and he had a rough life on his own, right? Like, I don't want to pull anybody underneath the carpet and blame anyone else, but I did grow up in an alcoholic home. My mom was a number one codependent. She's amazing. She'll be 90 next month. And she taught me coping skills. She taught me strength. She taught me business. She taught me how to be a woman in business. And my dad taught me business as well, and how to be myself in business. I did not really experience a gender role. It was just a business owner, entrepreneur, or employee role. That's how I kind of grew up. However, they would drink every other day. It seemed like one day would be drinking, one day would be hangover. I never knew what was going to happen when I came into the door after school. And I won't go into too much detail about that. If anybody that's been raised that way, there's good days and bad days, right? So yeah, I was through the gamut. It taught me a lot of coping skills as well. I actually went to Alateen in high school, where I found a voice and realized that I wasn't alone. I always felt like on the outside of everything. I never really felt like I fit in. I was friends with everyone in high school. I was friends with the stoners. My best friend was a cheerleader. I was friends with the brainiacs. I was friends with the partiers. And I just never really felt like I fit in one specific group. And then I found Alateen, I found therapy, I found speaking up, I found that I was not alone. I was a speaker in high school, didn't even really realize it. But as soon as I shared a little bit about my pain, I realized that, oh, we don't have to go through this alone, and we're not the only ones here. So I jumped right out of high school into the workforce immediately. Moved out at 17 when I graduated it in June. I wasn't 18 until September. And I loved working. I loved being useful. I loved money. I loved making money. And I never had an issue with making money. I always knew that I could make money as I do now. You can plop me anywhere and any time and anything. And I know that I can make money. I know that I can make income just because of my skills and knowing that I will attract it no matter where I go. So that wasn't the issue for me. It was actually recovering from that childhood. And so I jumped straight into marriage at 19 with a business owner, same mindset. And he actually ended up being an alcoholic as well. But that felt familiar to me, right? Because I grew up in an alcoholic home with chaos. And so I jumped right into that because it felt comfortable and familiar. And in all his own rights, he was an amazing man. And he had a home with his brother and all this great stuff. So I had financial independence pretty much from there, like growing up. And I still worked. I brought in my own income, helped him with his business, did the same thing. A year later, I'm pregnant. Boom. So I had my first son, Nicholas, at the age of 21. That was not planned. And then we took over another business and we moved and bought a bigger home and, just the American dream, scaling up and scaling up. And pregnant again with my daughter, Cherie, 3 years later, I had her. And so now I have two beautiful children, a couple businesses we have going, our second home that's bigger. It's amazing. I'm taking over my parents' business, buying my parents' business from them. So now we have our third business. We're just climbing up the ladder. I felt like I controlled everything in my household because he was at work so often. And I worked from home most of the time. So little did I know that wasn't the case, right? When you're in a dysfunctional household, you have a fantasy of what's really happening and what is really you're feeling on the inside. And so I felt like I was in control, but I absolutely was not. I was miserable. I was so miserable. And I just kept plugging along, became the president of the PTA. I was at my kids' private elementary school forever, every day. When I didn't know what to do, I just did more. I just stayed busy. If you've ever done that, like you just get busier, right? We plan parties on the weekends and we're with kids all the time and we have always something going. And then every my calendar was full every single day. And then I woke up and I just literally could not breathe one day. I felt like I was being strangled. I just literally felt like an elephant was sitting on me. I just really could not breathe. So I jumped into therapy, started going to church. I didn't know what the problem was. And I was reaching out to new friends. I was planning a couple of huge parties, my mom's 60th birthday party, my sister's wedding, one more thing at the school. And so I was very overwhelmed. And I realized that I needed to have some time alone and to really find out who I was and what was happening. And that did not go over well with my husband at the time. So that started 6 months of hell, basically. I asked for a divorce, went into my own room. We had moved to another bigger house by then, a beautiful home, 3,500 square feet. I had my Jaguar, I had my convertible. He had a brand new truck. We had a beautiful pool. Our kids were in pageants and baseball and dance classes and very, very busy. Part of the traveling with the PTA and our school, like just crazy, crazy. And I was screaming from the inside out and trying to be heard, and it did not work. Long story short, we'll come back to that on another chapter. I did ask for a divorce. It did not go well. We started going to couples therapy. That did not go well. And I went into my own bedroom. That did not go well. He used to walk around my bed, actually with a gun down to the side of his leg, just kind of holding a gun, silent, not saying anything. It was all the underlining emotional abuse that was happening, never physical. And so I didn't really realize the severity of it. And I asked his family to help me get him out of the house. I was separated. I wanted out, and after months and months, he finally left. I could breathe again. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I could take a deep breath. I felt like the weight was gone. I wasn't afraid. I was actually joyful. I was having fun with my friends. I was dating. I filed for divorce. And he got wind of it. It did not go well. We had a little mishap. I'll go into that later. We went to court. I was winning in court. That did not go well either with him mentally. It's like he flipped a switch. Like he just literally came into rage. And I knew that had happened. And so I was afraid, but I didn't know what to do. And so I was embarrassed as well. I was embarrassed that I was in this situation. So he ended up coming by the house and taking the kids to school, which he never made it. So he took the kids for the weekend. I got full parental rights at that time. And so he didn't see the kids for a couple months. His family asked if he could take them on vacation. I said yes. So I gave his sister visitation rights to watch the kids, to go on a week with all their cousins. And then I got to go play with my boyfriend at the time. And we went to a festival. I was skinny. I was looking great. I had, never really dated. I went straight from, school to marriage. And so I was dating, and I felt like I was in this fantasy world. And he showed up there with the children. And this started a 24 hours of hell. We went straight to the police. They would not do anything. I actually knew the police officer. I was on the bowling team with him. So he knew me as a strong, stable person in the community. So he didn't realize the severity of this. And there was nothing they could really do because we didn't know where they were. And so I went straight back to my boyfriend's house and just paced and paced all day, all night. Ended up going to work the next morning, very early in the morning, 2 a.m. And he pulled up with my daughter on his lap with a gun to her head in a rented van, saying, "Get in the car." Drove up to our house, and he held me hostage for a while and let me go because my employees were calling. And then he barricaded himself and my children in my master bedroom in my home. I called 911. This started the 11-hour hostage day, my nightmare. I just knew he was trying to get my attention, and it just got completely out of hand. We had SWAT on the roof. There was police. There was news cameras. My friends started showing up. I was in the command center, basically 2 houses down for me to stay out. They would grab me every so often, and we would go in up the stairs, and then he would try to use me as to negotiate. And we did that throughout the day. Didn't really work. I got to speak with my children through the door of the master bedroom. And then after 11 hours, they gave him a 10-minute ultimatum. This does not end well. At the end of 10 minutes, 3 shots were fired. I did not know they were shots at the time because it was muffled. I did not realize it. I was at the command center 2 houses down, and it was a husband and wife, and they were both nurses. They both gave me a pill at that time and said, "Take this." They knew what it was, and I didn't. I think it was a tranquilizer or something. And finally, they told me what happened. He took my daughter's life, Cherie, my son's life, Nicholas, and his life in my master closet. I was 29 years old. That was a day that I can't even describe to you. Seeing the ambulances pull up and the stretchers going into the house and coming out and still not knowing exactly what happened. It was horrible. I went straight into mom mode, to mother bear mode, and assumed that they saw him commit suicide and that they were going to need help. So now is the task of driving to each hospital. When you have children of violent crimes, I guess of gunshots or wounded, they have to go to 2 separate hospitals. So my girlfriends drove me to the first hospital. Then I had to go to the second hospital. I'm not going to go into too much detail there. As you can imagine, I did see both of my children. They were not my children. I believe that they were gone already at that time. Thank God I had that tranquilizer, because I would have never been able to get through that time in my life. My boyfriend at the time came to the hospital. I had just been dating him for like 6 weeks or so, and he came to the hospital, saved me, basically. I was completely in shock and numb at the time. Whew. Long story short, I went to therapy. I went to bed at my boyfriend's house. Every day, I just couldn't even breathe, didn't even know why I was here, and started going to grief group for parents who have lost children. This was amazing for me because they could actually understand how I felt. My friends would drive me there. They would drive me to therapy. My sister and her beautiful husband came down, moved into my rental. My friends, I had renters in there at the time that thrashed it. They took time off work. They cleaned my whole house. They redid it for me. It was just beautiful, so that I had a house to live in, because this happened in my master closet in my home. So I had no home. I still had a business to run. My sister and her husband ran my business for over a year every day so that I could just go to bed and grieve. I came in to sign checks and to do a few things, and that was it. I just had the most support you could even imagine. Going to this grief group and trying to find a reason to live, I just knew that I could never give my parents the pain that I was feeling. There was just no way that I could do that. And that was the only thing that I could grasp, because there was no reason for me to live. There was no reason for me to be in this pain. But there was no way that I could cause this pain to someone else. So I went to this grief group every single week. And there was a woman who walked in and found her son who had committed suicide because he was homosexual. And this was in the 90s, y'all. She handled her grief with such grace. And there was another couple that just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed every single week. And then I found out their son had passed away 5 years earlier. And I said, oh, hell no. There is no way that I could do this every single day for the next 5 years. I decided and made a decision right then. I was going to live. I knew that I was here for a reason. I didn't know what it was. Maybe you know you're here for a reason. I just knew that I was here for a reason. So I dug in, man. I dug into that grief process. I dug into therapy. I dug into dream workshops and hypnosis and psychics and church and anything that I could come across. I dove into at 29 years old, usually youngest one in the room for all this type of spirituality. Laws of the universe, law of attraction. I started my spiritual journey like I devoured it. And I just knew that I was here for a reason. I knew that I was here to share my story. It took me several years to be able to do that. But I knew that I was here for a reason because I had such a great life, I thought. And on the outside, we looked like the American dream. We had the home, the cars, the businesses, the beautiful children. And it seemed to be what happened, what we were supposed to be. And it wasn't. I was miserable. So I knew that I was here to share my story. It took an amazing life coach, May Vu, who saved my life and helped me realize that I had blocks in my mindset before I could actually share my story. I had amazing coaches. Shannon and Mark Granger helped me share my story and become a speaker and be able to tell my story. The first time I told my story at this speaker workshop, oh my gosh, bawled my head off, right? We had to tell our story 25 times a day for like a week before we could actually do it without bawling our heads off. And then still times, I mean, you're authentic. I'm authentic. And so sometimes still it gets me. And I just decided to make a difference. My children, Nick and Cherie's birthstone it was in April, and Diamond. My business's name are Diamond Life Planning and Diamond Life Strategies. Everything I do is to give back to what I had gone through and what people are still going through, and domestic violence for women. I am here for women in every which way possible because no one was there to help me. I needed so much help during that 6 months of hell when I knew he had flipped his switch. Nobody listened to me because I seemed so confident and in charge and all together, I guess, because we had money, we had the dream, and nobody was listening to me on how much he had flipped a switch. And I couldn't even bring it to myself completely either. It was crazy. So I sued the city. I sued the chief of police. Along with his family as well. It was 5 years of lawsuits and depositions and all of that. We ended up settling at the end of all of that 5 years. I went with my boyfriend at the time. Just went to his home and I was with him every single day. He saved my life. I saved his life. Truly grateful, and ended up marrying him and having my beautiful children now. So there's always a lining, right? A silver lining. And so I had my daughter Journey at 35 or 36. And then I had my son Parker 13 months later. Yeah, just checking to see if it worked. It worked. And so they are 25 and 26 now. So as you can tell, this has been many, many, many years, and they're amazing. I'm a mom. It's still awesome. I did divorce him after I woke up about 8, 9 years later and said, okay, I don't even know who I am yet. Don't even know who I am through all of this. And we still communicate now, and which is great. And my remarried again to my third husband, and who was a firefighter at the time. And I can very profoundly say that I'm a stepmom, and I call myself the wicked stepmom, WSM. My stepchildren are beautiful. I love them with all my heart, Morgan, Emily, and Jared. And I had such a blessing being able to come into their life when they were very young and being a part of their life, and having a stepfather for my children as well. And we just had so much love, and there was just so much love there growing up. And I think that really helped everyone. And then woke up again, divorced as well again. So been married 3 times, not done. I love it. I love men, love marriage, love the commitment. And I can say I'm married to myself right now because I'm almost 10 years alone now, which is crazy because I've never been alone. And I love it. I love getting to know myself and really, really understanding what makes me tick and why I am the way I am. And here's the key: loving myself as is. Thanks to Mavu, she helped me do that. Loving myself exactly how I am. Y'all, I got flaws. I am a Virgo and I am a perfectionist, and I am perfectly imperfect. I hope you are as well, because that's when life is spicy. That's when it's fun, is when we're not perfect. And now I go to my strengths. My strength, one of them is talking, as you can tell. I also am very authentic, and I am okay with sharing probably 95% of me and my life. I'm sure there's something I don't, but I am one of those people that I just know that I'm here to use my voice and to help others. And if you were there, and if you're listening to this story, and if you are feeling anxiety or depression or any mental illness whatsoever, um, please know that there's help for you. There's absolute help for you. And you do not have to go it alone. And it is okay. You are perfect as you are. Suicide is never the answer. And I think that that's just for people who are completely at the end of their rope and they don't realize that there's help out there. But there's absolutely help out there. There's chemical imbalances. I know that there's a lot of people that need to be on medications. Our country is not doing the best job helping our mental illness in this country. And so I just want you to know you're not alone. We've all experienced our own stories. And I can tell you on the other side of things, it's amazing. Now, I have experienced the most excruciating pain ever in this lifetime. I understand that. And I can also know the one thing that I always ask everyone on my show, what do I know for sure right now? Because it changes. What I know for sure right now is with the most excruciating pain that I've received and lived through and experienced, I also have the most joy. Like it's both ends of the sticks, as Abraham Hicks always says, right? I can tell you that I have so much joy just over anything that makes me happy. And so with the good, there is the bad. With the bad, there is the tremendous good. So please focus on the good part, even if it's I just woke up today or a hot shower or the sun shining, or you're going to laugh, but I love my cell phone case. I love the color purple. I am wearing yellow. I was going to have a guest today. I'm not sure what's happening, so I will definitely have her back. However, she is another mother whose daughter committed suicide, and I wanted to share her, and hers was, when you feel blue, think yellow. And that's why I'm wearing this yellow top. And so I don't want to share her thunder because I will definitely have her on. I'm not quite sure what happened, if she had technical difficulties or what, but I will definitely have her on to one of my shows and she can share her story and her daughter, her beautiful daughter, with you as well. Let's everybody take a big, deep breath with me. That was big, right? Okay. I'm also sharing all of this with you is because I am who I am. And I did receive a settlement. I did receive money, and I did learn how to handle money after that, after I got screwed a couple times by this wonderful financial services industry. Thank goodness it's been changing, and we are so much better than we are now. And I know Juan is here, my amazing engineer, and he is going to cue up a commercial I have. And so now what I like to do is give back, because that's what I'm here for, right? I know that I'm here to share what I have learned. And I have learned how to take our horrible tragedies in our lifetime and turn it into focusing on what's good and then attracting an amazing financial freedom. And when we do that, how we feel about one thing is how we feel about everything. So if we feel good about one thing in our life, we can transfer that to money. We can transfer it to relationships. We can transfer it to love. We could transfer it to our relationships with our family and our children, our parenting, our spouses, our significant others, whatever it might be. How we feel about one thing is how we feel about everything. So I'm going to key up this commercial for you. It's absolutely amazing. And I'll share a little bit more after the commercial, and I'll tell you all about it. And I hope you can join me on this journey of rocking your finances. Juan, are we ready for that wonderful commercial?
Wait, the show isn't over yet. There's more fun and finances ahead. Jennifer will be right back as we have a special bonus offer for you right here on Rock My Finances, broadcasting live on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer Jost. Are you ready to transform your relationship with money? Rock My Finances Club is your weekly mastermind for wealth empowerment. Join me live for your personal weekly group video sessions and access your personal portal with the video library at any time, including your success system and way more bonuses. Go to rockmf.com for your financial empowerment. Make yourself a priority today. Schedule a chat with me at rockmf.com and achieve your feminine financial freedom finally. Oh, and don't forget to ask me how to save 50%. See you at our weekly mastermind.
Okay, Rock My Finances on K4HD and Talk4TV is back. Once again, let's put the fun in finance with your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
I hope you enjoyed that. Rock My Finances Club is a weekly mastermind. We meet on Zoom every single week, and you can be personally coached by me. And I do have a 100% success ratio, y'all, just telling you. And we take you from exactly where you're at, which can be anywhere. Since it's not about the zero, it actually is about the F word, your feeling. So how you feel about money and how you feel about your relationship with money is what it's all about. So we want to make sure that you're on the right track with that. So check it out. Go to rockmf.com. Schedule a 15-minute chat with me. Let's see if you're a good fit for this. And then I'll give you the secret discount on how to actually save on your monthly mastermind. We have a portal for you to go into to watch some videos at your own time and how that works for you. And also live with me to get your questions answered. I have several entrepreneurs on there right now, and we go over everything from, accounting to marketing to fulfilling with your clients and what's the best way to plan your schedule and how to keep the right mindset when you're promoting yourself on social media or having your appointments with your clients. I mean, we go over so many different things. If you're working for a corporation, how do you ask for that raise? How do you move up to that next level? How do you make sure that you're not spending more than really what you're bringing in or making? And if you already have an amazing surplus on a monthly basis, what are you doing with that surplus? How do you know where to invest next? How do you know how to make your money work for you? The secret is to always be having our money work for us, because I love the mantra, my money makes money while I sleep, right? And so we talk about mantras, we talk about visions, we talk about our morning routines and how to set up a strategic morning routine for you individually. Some of us are morning people, some of us are not. Some of us have 5 minutes, some of us have an hour. Everyone's different. So I actually do a custom plan for you on a weekly basis. And this weekly mastermind, you get to hear from others as well. So we all get to learn from each other as well. I believe women need women. I do believe that we need to hear what other people are doing out there to make it fresh and alive. So check out rockmf.com and let me know what you think about that. We have several things there. You can also go to meetjenniferjost.com, MEET, Jennifer, Jost, Jost. And that's my electronic business card. And you can see everything that I'm doing there. I have a couple books that I've purchased. In fact, there are written a chapter on the left-hand side here. You can see behind me, Engage Speakers. And so we talk about our stories there. I have a chapter in there. And then on the right-hand side, Driven to Courage, I also have a chapter in there. And I have tips and tricks on how to go from tragedy to triumph and how to find your financial freedom. And the F word again, foundation. What is your financial freedom foundation? It has to be our mindset. Our foundation around money starts up here. It absolutely starts in our brain. And so we have to know what our money beliefs are in order to get to that next level in our life. And our beliefs start in childhood. So sometimes our beliefs aren't even ours. Sometimes our belief came from our childhood or the people that are around us when we were growing up. And we get a chance to actually look at those and say, okay, is that mine? My adult grown ass woman that I am now? Is that my belief or is that somebody else's belief? And then do I need to shift that belief? Because things are always changing. Life's always changing. And so what do you know for sure right now? Ask yourself one belief. What was the belief in your childhood when you were growing up? That's a great question. That's a great place to start. What was the belief in your childhood growing up? So mine was work hard, make money. My parents always worked their butts off and they had businesses and they were entrepreneurs. My mom was a hairstylist as well. She has some great stories as well. And then I can tell you, I have a great work ethic. I work almost every day. I know we're supposed to take a day off, which is great. I'm an empty nester now. My cats don't care if I work and when I work, but I love my work and I know that I'm giving back to my clients and I know that I am making a difference. And so that lights me up. But the work comes from in here. The work comes from my heart. The work comes from, I know that I'm here for a reason. So it's a little bit different than when I have in the past. I've been with a situation or a company or a firm where I was doing things for other people. And it wasn't my true authentic work. I was being trained in a way that did not feel right for me, especially in sales. If you're in sales, they always try to track the dollars and the dollar amount and commissions and all of that. That doesn't sit right with me. That really just drives me crazy because it's not about the zeros. It's not about the commissions. It's about how many hearts can I touch? And if you're doing the right thing, the money's always going to come. It might not come in the way you think it's going to come, but it always comes. I promise you. It always comes. So if you always do right by your clients and by yourself, which is where we usually need to start, is are you treating yourself the best you can? Like I had to put myself first. Ladies out there, sometimes it's difficult. B for boundaries, the B word. Now, I love a lot of B words. And boundaries was one that I started learning in high school. I went to Alateen in high school and I started learning boundaries back then. I had to have boundaries with my parents. I had to have boundaries with my children. I'm still learning boundaries. I'm still always up leveling in the boundary area. But I have to make sure that I'm putting myself first. In order to do that, I have to know what lights me up. So here's one more tip for you. I always have all my clients do this first and foremost. And it's hilarious because when we talk about money and financial plans and all of that, they always laugh. The first thing you have to do is write down 100 things that you love, which I know has nothing to do with what you would think, like your profit and loss or what's money you have coming in or any of that. Doesn't have anything to do with that. But I want you to come from love. If we come from love, we're not coming from fear. We're not coming from scarcity mode. We're not coming from anger, resentment, blame, shame. We are not coming from victimhood. We're coming from love. So writing down 100 things that you love, keep that list by you and read it every single day until it becomes part of your routine to be able to come in from love. So when you do that, it feels really good. You light up. It feels great. And then you're going to be able to feel yourself when you go into that scarcity mode or when you go into that fear or the negativity, and you're not going to want that feeling. It feels yucky. And so then that's when, and that's a technical term. Yucky is a technical term. When we start to feel yucky, that is when we know that we got to get back on track. We got to get back to what makes me feel good. So I know a lot of us out there set a lot of goals. And that's usually what I have my clients do first, is I need to know what their goals and dreams are. I've added one more D word here, desire. Goals, dreams, and desires are very different. When we mention our goals, when we're in sales normally, or entrepreneur, or if you've had a coach in the past or any sports at all, our goals sometimes can be very lofty. And then when we don't meet that goal, we feel like crap and we start beating ourselves up. And I don't know about you, but I do not need any more reasons to beat myself up. Time and age and all of that is doing it on its own. I do not need to be doing that as well. So I always want to make a goal that I know that I can reach. It's kind of like your to-do list. When you check something off your to-do list, it feels really good. Well, I want to make sure that I can celebrate accomplishing that goal. Then we have a stretch goal, because I also want us to have a desire and a dream. And so knowing that we're not going to beat ourselves up if we don't reach that dream, but I want it there in your vision. I want it there in the future so that we have something to reach. We don't know what we don't know, period. And so when we realize another type of living, another lifestyle, everything's based around the lifestyle that you want to live. If you are in a 9 to 5 and not enjoying it, do you want to move to a different department? Do you want to move to a different company? Go check out Indeed, check out Facebook, see what's out there. If Go check around your company that you're at right now. If you're at a 9 to 5, go see maybe another boss or just anything can change your day-to-day routine, right? If you're an entrepreneur, what is the next step that you want to make in your career? And now here's the trick that nobody talks about that we're missing. With all of that said, that's great. However, the F word, how do you feel about what you want? That's the trick, y'all. We got to have our feeling about our goal, our feeling about our desire, our feeling about that next level in our life. Because when we have that feeling now, you can actually experience the feeling of having that dream, goal, and desire today, which is what is going to attract it. Yes, you heard it here, folks. First, that is it. We have to have the feeling first, F word first. So when we're going to rock my finances, I have to rock my feeling about my finances first. So when I have my weekly money date, I have to get that feeling first. Now, my goal might be double my income this year. My goal might be add $2,000 to my bottom line a month. My goal might be get out of credit card debt. Whatever my goal might be, what is it going to feel like when I accomplish that? Like, what is it going to feel like? And then I want you to just wrap yourself up in that feeling and put a color to it. Like, what color is that feeling? I'm looking at purple right now. And so that's what my goal is. It's going to be a purple feeling. It's going to feel amazing and luscious and rich and warm. And so now I can feel that all around me, right? I can feel that feeling now. And so that goal is that much closer to me because I'm creating it, I'm attracting it. I never discussed one time how I'm going to accomplish it because it's not about the high or the why. It's not about the how. It's not about the how. It is about the feeling of my why. And we're going to talk about that again on another podcast here. The why. Our whys are so important. I know that my why is my children, Nicholas and Cherie. I know that I'm here for that reason. And now my why is my beautiful children, Journey and Parker. I am here to be the best mom I can possibly be. And you can even ask them on a daily basis. And I am not the perfect mom. And sometimes it hurts to hear that, but I'm not. And that's okay. I'm perfectly imperfect. But my feeling around being a mom, I feel great about trying my best all the time. I'm always trying my best. And so it's about the F word. F word could be finance, could be feeling, could be freedom, could be any of it all. So I hope I'm leaving you with some amazing things today. Nicholas and Cherie are with you. Nicholas, if you start, if you drop something for no reason, that's him. It's usually my keys. He's laughing and giggling with you because he was hilarious. He used to be with the babysitters and open up a can of soda and give them a can and say, would you like this? And they said no. And he's like, oh, okay, then I have to drink it. Like, he was hilarious, completely smart, intelligent. Cherie, she's going to be giggling for no reason at all, the smiley, mischievous giggle. So if you start doing that, she's with you as well. Thank you so much for letting me share my beautiful kids with you today. They're amazing. They're with me all the time. And I hope to see you back here. Please follow Rock My Finances on YouTube. Follow us live on Facebook. You can join the group. I'm going to go in and answer questions and really share myself in the Facebook group, Rock My Finances, and the YouTube channel, Rock My Finances. I will be there on a weekly basis and get your questions answered on the next weekly show. Thank you all so much for joining me. And thank you for letting me create what's going to happen today and sharing my heart and my soul with you. And I can't wait for you to come back next week because we are literally going to rock my finances every single week. And I hope you can join me. Hey, Juan, my amazing engineer, let's tee up the end of the show. Thank you so much, y'all. Have an amazing day.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.